I have extensively tested an AI humanizer tool called Wright's AI to see if it can actually pass AI detection systems. So in this video, I'll show you my results and my overall opinion on whether you should use a tool like this. And I will also compare it with another popular AI humanizing tool towards the end. And just in case you're new to the technology, Wright's AI is an example of an AI humanizing tool that will take AI generated content and then it will spin it to a humanized version that will then bypass AI detection systems. And also the content will sound more human and less like this AI generated garbage. Or at least that's what the landing page says. But now let's figure out if this is actually true. So let me show you my results. To test the Wright's AI humanizer, I did the following things. First, I generated 4 pieces of content using ChatGPT. Then I opened up Wright's AI and I humanized every single piece of content that I just produced. Then I opened up a bunch of popular and reputable AI content detection systems. And then I took these humanized versions of my original AI generated text samples and I ran it through all these AI detectors. So for each humanized text sample, I got a bunch of different scores from these different AI detection systems. And here you will see a table that summarizes the human scores that I got after running these samples through these AI detectors. So basically in this table, 0% means that the content is 0% human written and it is entirely AI generated based on the AI detector. And then 100% means that the AI detector thinks that this piece of content is human written. So if Wright's AI is a good tool, it should actually only get 100% scores from these AI detectors. However, based on the table, the very first AI detector already, that is Winston AI, was already able to spot that this is still AI generated content. However, Originality AI and Quillbot AI were completely fooled by this humanized piece of content. And then Undetectable AI wasn't too convinced that this is actually human-generated content. By the way, Undetectable AI uses a bunch of different popular AI detectors behind the scenes, so this actually reveals you the whole situation. And if we sum up these results, you will actually see that it gets an average of 70% human-written score after you have humanized it using AI. And that is actually very bad, because this number should be somewhere like between 99% and 100% basically. So basically 7 out of 10 times when you use Wright's AI to humanize your content, it will fool the AI detector, but 3 out of 10 times you're not going to be able to fool the AI detector, which is nearly half of the times if you think about it. And now, because Wright's AI performed so badly, I actually wanted to try how this compares if I'm using ChatGPT to humanize my AI written piece of content. So I will just whip up a blog post or an essay using ChatGPT, and then I will instantly tell ChatGPT to humanize that to bypass these AI detectors. So essentially, I just repeated the same process as I did with Wright's AI, but now I used the ChatGPT AI as a humanizer. And I used a very simple prompt where I basically told the AI to just add some human characteristics into the text to fool these AI detectors. And by the way, I have left links to all these text samples and prompts in the description of the video as well, if you want to give it a try with your favorite tool. But nonetheless, here are the content scores that I got when I ran these ChatGPT humanized pieces of content through the same AI detectors that I just did with the Wright's AI content. Once again, based on this table, Winston AI seems to catch that this is still AI-generated content, even though I just humanized it with ChatGPT. Once again, Originality AI was completely fooled by this, and then also Quillbot AI was fooled by this as well. But this time, Undetectable AI was also pretty much fooled, unlike with Wright's AI. And basically what this means is that ChatGPT actually performed better. So ChatGPT was a better AI content humanizer than Wright's AI. You can actually see this because if we take the average of all these scores in the ChatGPT AI detected table, we're going to get a score of about 72%, while we only got a score of 70% when we did this with Wright's AI. So ChatGPT was clearly better than Walter Wright's AI. And to put the final nail in the coffin, if you think about it, ChatGPT is actually free to use. So you can do this for entirely free, unlimited number of times if you use ChatGPT. On the other hand, with Walter Wright's AI, you only get to humanize 300 words, and then you already have to pay for the service. So this time, I have to say that even though the results were close, the winner is ChatGPT. So if you want to humanize your text, don't use Walter Wright's AI, use ChatGPT instead. And that brings me to the last point of this video, which is that I do not believe in either AI detection or AI humanizing, because it's kind of pointless. At the end of the day, if you want to make your content count, you have to do something original and unique, and you have to say something that hasn't been said before. And if you use AI to write content, for instance, blog posts, you're not doing that. You're just summarizing what already exists, and you're just writing just another blog post, which is not a strategy that you'll find success with. At least I have never seen anyone do that yet.